Hello, and welcome to Psyched for Sanity. I am one of your hosts, Dr. Brendel Doss. I specialize in trauma treatment, child treatment, forensic psychology, and geriatric psychology.
And I am Dr. Tara McKelvey Parker. I'm also a licensed clinical psychologist. I specialize in assessing and treating complex trauma and attachment wounds from childhood. And something you may or may not know about me is that I am quite directionally challenged.
I think I've had a sense of this, but I did not know it till as clearly as okay.
I don't know where I'm going ever. I have my GPS on constantly. I think I could probably make it around the block without it.
The block? Wow.
I'm just kidding. That was an exaggeration. But I do put it on even to go to work. I know where I'm going, but I like to know when I'm going to get there. I like to know if there's an accident. It's comforting.
Yeah.
But also when people are like, go east, take a ride in the McDonald's. I'm
Go
like,
west, young man.
What are you talking about? What are you saying?
Yeah.
So,
well, I am not as directionally challenged, but I recently have been reflecting on my anger towards certain feathered friends.
Feathered friends?
Yes. I used to live, I used to have a house on like a body of water, like on a canal. And it sounds really nice. And there's ducks and geese and waterfowl and all egrets, beautiful birds. So magical. No.
Birds are mean.
I'm angry at ducks. They are they're rude. They are rude and they are invasive. They will sit in your planters and they don't care where they make their nests. They are just determined. And then the duck parties they have, it's just quackery. No, I'm seriously though.
They're like, dude, this was my land. This was my land first.
Right. Yeah, fair. But I have I fully acknowledge an irrational anger towards ducks. And that is what I chose to share with you today.
You think because you think they're doing it on purpose.
Well, you're like, that's probably a cognitive distortion. I'll address that on the way home. Thank you for that feedback.
You're welcome. Write it in your notebook.
I'm going to write it in my
Challenge
journal.
your thinking. Those ducks were there before you.
They were there, and they're probably there after me. And they are there after me. That's ironically.
Because you moved and they will.
I left. Yeah,
forever
I left the ducks
exist.
behind. Not the anger. But I was thinking of this kind of experience I have with these feathered people.
Feathered people.
Because in our Emotion 101 series,
Yes.
we are talking about one of my favorite emotions to talk about and one of your least
She
favorite
loves it.
emotions
I'm
to
just
talk about. Anger.
What's that? Confabulating? Is that the word you used last time?
I don't know, maybe.
A conundrum.
No, conundrum
Anger
is
is
my
a
favorite.
conundrum for me. It's a complex problem.
It's a complex problem. So I'm not the complex problem anger is for you.
Yeah, I feel really bad about
Yeah,
that.
well, let's talk about I don't think you're alone in not liking anger.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I can't feel it very easily.
And that's what I was getting to.
And I have a lot of negative meaning and emotions attached to anger. So it's hard for me to access it and express it cleanly.
Yeah, we've talked about what a clean emotional expression is, but just to reiterate for our audiences that may not have watched past episodes, what is a clean example of clean emotional expression?
So clean emotional, when one feels angry, it is the ability to, because anger is a signal.
All emotions
it is a
are
messenger,
messengers.
right?
Yes.
Anger usually signals that something is unfair. A boundary has been violated in some kind of way. Something that you value feels threatened. So anger is a very important emotion.
So important.
So when any of that's happening, it's very legit to feel angry and to digest it and to be able to then either mobilize action to change it.
That's one of the primary messages to motivate to action.
Or to communicate a need or feeling or, whatever.
Absolutely.
But when we have shame, for instance, attached to anger, feeling angry makes us bad, for instance, then we tend to suppress it or it comes out in more dysfunctional ways, right? Because we don't feel comfortable just being angry and expressing our anger.
Right.
So then it's not clean anymore. It gets all convoluted and complicated. Well,
and I think kind of going back to your discomfort with anger and you're kind of not knowing how to express it, you shared about this on the podcast. And I think a lot of people would resonate with at home that some folks are not really raised in environments where they're allowed to express all of their emotions. And a lot of time, a lot of parents struggle
Anger is a hard one.
with allowing a child to express anger or that type of
Yes.
righteous indignation.
Especially, I think it gets hard whenever our kids are very young because anger usually equals some kind of like not great behavior.
Right.
And when you have a 2-year-old and they're angry, they're going to
Right.
scream, they are going to hit, they
Yeah.
are potentially will bite. Like
Pinch.
they have no ability to regulate their
No,
anger.
they're not supposed to at that time.
They're not supposed to, but I think the traditional parenting methods would then
Yes.
encourage some kind of like consequence or punishment.
100%. Yeah.
And so then that creates shame around feeling angry when it's not anger that's the problem. It's the way that it can be expressed sometimes
Right.
that can be problematic. So
And I'll talk about that real briefly because so many people that I've worked with don't know the difference. That doesn't mean maybe you do know the difference, but did you know that anger and aggression are not the same thing?
I did know that,
Right.
Dr. Doss. I did.
A lot of folks don't. So aggression is the maladaptive behavioral manifestation of anger. But anger is just that your rights have been violated, that something you care about has been threatened. And so, again, anger, like you just said, is never the problem. But how we
Right.
allow that expression can
Right.
be problematic.
Right. And I just you said you had asked me, do you know that anger and aggression are not the same thing? And I said automatically yes. But emotionally, actually, there's a part of me that does believe anger is aggressive when you grow up in environments where
Yeah.
like you potentially had a parent who was really angry or
when all
scary.
you saw as anger, like anger equals aggression.
Was aggressive, right?
Yeah.
And so it can be scary for some of us to express anger because emotionally it does feel dangerous or threatening.
Yeah,
Or,
it feels like they're the same thing.
exactly. So emotionally, no, I don't always know that, which is one of the meanings I have attached to anger, which is why it is so hard sometimes for
Right.
me to like feel it and communicate. So I think that's a good point.
I got the gift growing up that I was allowed to express all my emotions all the time.
Yeah. sounds nice for you.
Are you experiencing some jealousy? We haven't covered that yet.
We're going to do jealousy. We're going to do jealousy. That,
But
yeah.
today we're doing anger. And so I grew up being allowed to express anger and feel angry. I think that anger is so important to understand. And anytime I work with a patient or even have someone in my circle or life, it's like, oh, I don't get that angry. I don't feel anger. I don't experience that a lot. Or they'll say, oh, I'm just not an angry person. As if feeling some anger means that you're angry all the time.
It's one of those cognitive distortions.
Right. I think that kind of we have to demystify. We've talked about this in past episodes, but I think it really bears repeating. The best method is to allow access to all emotion to inform our experience, because all emotions have messages and they signal some type of need, and they all have the goal is to motivate to action.
Yeah,
every single one of
anger
them.
mobilizes action. Anger
Yeah.
is a very strong, powerful,
It's not a reflective emotion.
action-oriented. It's not a reflective emotion like we talked about with sadness before.
Right.
That slows us down and causes us to reflect. Anger causes us to act.
Right.
So,
What is some of the thinking, the thoughts around the cognitions, as we say, around anger?
anything having to do with that's unfair. They always do that. It's their fault.
Right.
So blaming, yes, anything
They're
about
trying to harm me on
unfairness.
purpose.
They're doing that on purpose. That was disrespectful. Perceived disrespect is a big one
Right.
that creates anger. So those are the kinds of thought processes
Right.
that would cue you into like, oh, maybe you're feeling angry. And this is important. I don't feel the anger in my body as much. So I'm much more aware in this case of my thought patterns.
Yeah.
Whereas other emotions, I feel it more in my body
Interesting.
first. So
Yeah.
I tend to rely more on the cognitive piece here. It's hard for me to access this emotion in my body.
So in the
right now.
body, anger is very physiological, for sure. It can be muscles tensing, racing heart. Some people describe blood rushing in the ears, like the feeling of like
Heat in the face.
Face flushed.
Yeah. One thing I think super interesting about that muscle tension or the jaw tightening is for a long time I thought that was anxiety. Recently, I've started to recognize that some of it's anger,
Yeah.
sort of, it's not necessarily my
Anxiety.
It's like a more subtle way to tap into some anger. Balled fists sometimes. I'll notice that in my patients when they're just
Yeah.
talking and they don't seem angry, but they're like balling their fists. So those are some good like
Right.
physiological or bodily manifestations
Yes.
of anger. Sometimes agitation too.
Yeah.
It's more
Like
of a behavioral.
having to move around, like feeling like irritable in your body, just need like almost like pacing.
Restless. That's, I guess, more of a behavioral manifestation.
Yeah.
We obviously, we've got the pacing.
That's how to express it, right.
Yeah. What are some other like behavioral manifestations of anger?
Well, there's the classic. It's fighting.
Did you say fighting?
Yeah. Fighting.
Fight.
Fighting.
Yeah. It activates the fight response.
It does. It activates the fight response.
It can, anger can be expressed aggressively, like
Yeah.
Dr. Doss mentioned earlier, and that's the yelling and the fighting and
It's verbal aggression, which is yelling, cursing someone.
that could be that's
Yeah.
an aggressive expression of anger.
But there's passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive, yep. So this is like subtle ways of trying to express anger without really being direct about it.
And I think people that utilize passive aggressive communication as an anger expression tool may have not been allowed to express aggressive forms during childhood that might have been punished or dismissed.
Maybe even the aggressive, if I can also see how someone might like, suppress, and then just explode.
Yes.
There's
I
that
see that a
pattern
lot.
too. So those people
Minimize, disconnect, not avoid.
avoid. I'm not angry. It's not a big deal. And then it all kind of stacks up, and then we're more likely to just kind of
Said
like
this in other episodes. We say it here again. Emotion is like energy. You cannot be destroyed. It has to go somewhere.
has to go somewhere. It's
We
going
don't
to come
release
out
it
in some way.
effectively and safely. It's gonna come out left, right, sideways.
Definitely. So yeah, passive aggressive. What are some passive? I've certainly
the
done
silent
this.
treatment. That can be another a different version of anger.
Yeah, for sure. Silent treatment, or like kind of like sarcastic teasing.
Oh, biting, negative comments.
like kind of jabs, like that kind of stuff can be like passive aggressive.
Absolutely.
Withdraw can be passive aggressive,
Sure.
like expression of anger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Passive aggressive. I mean, there's lots of different. I mean, what's the healthy? What's the healthy expression of anger then?
That would be a great question. I think it's assertive communication. But before you get to that, anger is a very, very intense emotion, and it acts as a cover for other emotions.
Oh yeah, this is important.
And then we don't think we've talked about this element in Emotion 101 or series thus far.
No, we haven't.
It is very rare in the world of the human experience, in our human person experience, to only feel one feeling at a time. Normally, we feel 2 to 3, if not 4 emotions at the same time to different levels. And depending on our comfort with each emotion and our ability to access that emotion in safe, coherent ways, like anger is an emotion that feels very powerful. It is not a vulnerable emotion. And it is not an emotion that society perceives necessarily as weakness. It's the opposite. So
Right.
anger can act as a coverall for sadness, for anxiety, for hurt, despair. And when it acts as a coverall, it is not, as you described earlier, that pure emotion,
The clean
clean
anger,
emotion.
Yeah.
Thank you. And expressing it doesn't really relieve the tension or the emotional energy because it's not really what you're really feeling deep down.
Or
It's
it's
like layers
not
of
all
lasagna
that. Yeah,
or a parfait.
yeah, or like exactly. It's so it would behoove you then, right?
Behoove you?
Behoove you once you follow the steps that
There are
we're
no hooves here.
gonna talk about and a little bit about what to do to try in psychology terms we call anger then a secondary emotion.
Yes.
It's something that we usually feel. Some people feel first. Some people are more they experience anger. And there's like that vulnerable emotion underneath, whereas I think other people lead with the vulnerable emotion, like me,
And they bury the anger.
bury the anger.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
it is like, anger can be a secondary emotion. So once you kind of recognize if that's you, then you can start to access the more vulnerable emotions underneath.
And that will relieve that tension around anger.
And then you'll start to express those feelings and figure out what you need around those things
Yes.
and kind of resolving those emotions.
Absolutely.
And so, effectively, anger can definitely signal some other emotion that needs processing or healing.
Yeah. Especially, I think, for some trauma survivors, anger feels protective. For some. Not all.
Yeah. People who, and that's that fight response. Some people who are survivors of trauma, they are fighters in terms of the 4 F's I've mentioned before. Fight, freeze, fawn. The anger. Anger is protective. It mobilizes action. It keeps people away. It is one of the ways.
Right. Kind of like in past episodes, we talked about how sadness is a signal and a bid for connection. anger, I would say, is a bit for protection.
And space. Space.
Right.
Which is one of the main ways that we can go about beginning to deal with anger.
Yeah.
Right? Once we kind of understand that we're feeling angry,
Right.
usually because anger is so intense, and for so many of us it can come out passive aggressively or aggressively, then we really want to pause,
Right.
take a break, take space.
Right.
We're kind of needing that to calm down.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the first step, even though it might sound counterintuitive since it's an emotion that motivates action. I always tell folks that are struggling to separate and understand anger, especially like reaction related to anger, is you can have a feeling and not have a behavior, an automatic behavioral reaction out of it necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Another way to put out, tell my patients, you can overreact later.
Yeah.
You can overreact later. You can choose to react aggressively later. But if you can find a way to stop, pause, and try to engage in some level of reflection, even though it's not a reflective emotion.
You have to get to a reflective place. So first you have to calm down.
Right.
First
you have to
calm down.
Functionally speaking.
Right. And to figure out then what anger is telling you, right?
Right.
And what other emotion you may be feeling that also has a message for you. So first it's a skill, it's a skill to be able to pause. To be able to pause and take a break. So take space, go on a walk, like do something to take space from whatever you're angry with.
Yeah.
And then reflect. What boundary was violated?
Right.
Right? What value feels threatened?
Right.
What's unfair here?
Yeah, what disrespect did you experience?
Yeah. Am I feeling sad underneath? Am I feeling actually scared underneath? Am I feeling ashamed underneath? These are big. I mean, anger often covers up shame, sadness, fear, frustration, like you mentioned, embarrassment. So, am I feeling those things too? And maybe we need to address those emotions.
Right.
Those need to be expressed. We need to figure out what we need.
Sure.
And then we need to be able to, either change something, set a boundary.
Right.
Right.
Speaking
of protection, anger often tells us a boundary has been violated, or we are not setting boundaries that we need to be setting. Right. Sometimes anger can signal anger at ourselves, but in a healthy way. Like, hey girl, don't buy that third cup of coffee. That's an internal boundary. Right? So boundaries, or how can I figure out how to make the situation more fair?
Absolutely. And that's the action that it's calling for.
That's the action piece.
Right.
And
after that awareness piece of like the levels or layers of emotion, or even like maybe your emotions are more like a ball of yarn all tumbled together.
Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm.
What is a functional, the word the healthy way to express anger that's not aggression, verbal or physical?
Aggression, verbal or physical, or passive aggressive. Well, assertive communication, folks. This is what we want to shoot for.
Okay. What does that look like?
Well, once you have paused and you have decreased arousal and you have figured out what anger is telling you and what other your emotions are telling you, then, if you've taken action, but maybe it has to do with a person, in a relationship, you want to communicate your needs, your feelings, your wants, like respectfully and directly.
Very direct.
Calm and direct.
Yeah.
Right? I think there's the
missive that anger, it has to be loud and boisterous and aggressive. But there is a real... a different power that can come from calm, measured, direct expression.
Yeah,
and it's even. I feel it's more powerful and communicative.
Right.
When it is measured and with that same intensity.
Yes, and I just think that many of us did not learn that.
No.
Right.
They don't teach that.
We didn't.
There was
no
class in that in school.
Did you say there's no class in that school?
Yeah. There was no class in emotion. In school.
I really wish there were.
Actually, in my school there was, but I went to...
Of course there was. Does this get any better, guys? We're doing jealousy next.
Wow. What a segue. She's getting so good at this podcasting thing. Look at her
Jealousy.
transitions go.
Man, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So assertive communication, it's hard.
So hard, and we're not taught it, generally speaking.
No, and you know,
It's not modeled for us.
Yeah, and I cannot also like underscore the importance of the idea that some people do not feel angry. There sometimes things I should feeling like other people are feeling angry for me. I'm
Right.
like,
Oh, yeah.
I do not feel angry.
I feel like time in the past couple years of your life, I've been really angry at things that are happening in your life, and you're like, meh.
She's like holding all the anger for me until I'm ready.
to.
All of my friends, they're like holding. Anyway, yes, it's hard to just
It's
experience.
hard.
For some of us, it's harder to experience. So
Not hard for me.
it's not hard for her. I know that's why she's always angry for me. I'm like, okay. There's-
I just feel, I do think I experience a healthy amount of righteous indignation for the people and things that I care about. And I think
yeah.
I have learned functional ways, even in my own expression over time, because I think we all can learn more and benefit from that experience. But I think learning how to express the roots behind my experience of anger are something that like I've learned more recently too.
Like more of the primary emotions you mean?
And also
or-
like the authenticity of it. Like, this is really what I'm angry about, or this is what is really frustrating about this experience. You know what I mean?
yeah, and being able to just own that, you mean, and communicate it.
That directness.
And that direct. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to do because I
It's
do think when we
so-
get angry, like we
Right.
mentioned before, it can really, it mobilizes immediate reactions. So we can blame, we can threaten, we can say things we don't
Right.
mean, you know, and
Right.
it's just not, it's not helpful. So
It's not helpful,
we
and
wanna-
it's if we don't learn how to express anger in a helpful, safe way, it can get real maladaptive real fast.
Mm-hmm.
If we have struggle with our anger and healthy anger expression, it can lead to, I think, increased substance use at times, things like that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and one, I think since I'm such an internalizer,
Yeah.
my anger just kind of gets channeled into like, it's just more anger at myself. You know,
Directing
or
the
more
anger inward versus
inward,
outward.
like a little bit more shame or guilt or like
Right.
even fear because my body starts to feel like it can't protect itself.
Mm.
Like because I don't feel like I can be angry or express it. And that actually increases my anxiety.
Yeah. Such an
just-
interesting
it's so,
mechanism.
It is,
Well,
right.
But and you said you feel like it's not protective, right? So
Like
that's-
I can't protect myself.
and
'cause
anger's motivation is to help you protect yourself.
Protect your physical body, your values,
Yes.
right? Like fairness,
Super big important for the anger.
respect.
Right.
I was like, hey, I don't like this thing that just happened to me.
Right.
Anger, it like tells you what's important enough to defend.
Yeah. I really like that. Anger
Yeah.
tells you what's important enough to defend.
Yep. Yep.
What you care about. With
Right.
that.
Right. So notice,
Yeah.
pause,
Right.
okay? Just definitely regulate, reflect,
Mm-hmm.
and then be able to take action about what needs to be changed
Right.
or communicate, assertive communication,
Assertive
thoughts,
communication.
feelings, needs, respectfully and directly. That's the goal.
It's hard to do. I think I
Yeah.
want to honor how challenging that is to do. I think that the feeling that people avoid with anger is they're afraid that in their direct communication of the need to protect something or defend something, it'll hurt someone else's feelings or it will not be received well. And I understand those fears.
Yeah.
I think, and that's where the other types of passive aggressive or withdrawal might come from.
Yeah, it's when we
Out of the
have all
anxiety.
those meanings that we attach to the anger, right? It's unsafe. We're going to be rejected. We'll be punished.
I'll be
we'll
rejected
be
for my anger.
abandoned.
Right.
Yeah, it's all of those fear-based meanings, shame-based meanings that make us not be able to access it or communicate it or feel okay feeling it. So then it
Right.
comes out aggressive, passive aggressive, or just completely stuck. You know, and which
Yeah.
is no bueno. So we
Yeah, and
want
I think stuck anger comes out as irritability.
Yeah, it can come out as irritability. It can come
Chronic
out
irritability.
as, feeling a little bit more depressed or ashamed or agitation. Like
Yep.
just some kind of, like, there's always, like Dr. Doss keeps saying, there's always a manifestation of an emotion. If you're just not getting out, it'll come up in some
It's
kind
gonna
of
come
way.
out somewhere, left, right, sideways.
Some kind of way.
Yeah, yeah. What are you? So this was an emotion that you avoided in our podcast, and you're like, ugh, I don't want to do anger, and I'm like, I want to do anger.
It's not that I don't like it. I'm just like confused by it.
She's confused by
This
it.
has been actually though just thinking about this episode was helpful in
Okay.
reorienting me to the emotion and my
Yeah.
dedication to, just like I do with sadness. I think I need to do probably some more just more intentional somatic
Yeah.
sort of work around anger.
Sure.
It's easier for me to do sadness than it is for
Yeah.
anger. But I do feel I have felt it in my jaw before and in my fists.
Mm.
So when I've done somatic meditation around it.
Yeah, I think I am taking away, as we've kind of gone through these episodes over these recordings, is really just how crucial each emotion is in a human experience. And anger gets a bad rap, but it is no different than sadness or
Or joy.
or joy or comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is about, sending a message.
Yeah.
And I think it's really up to us as to how we try to receive it and what we do with that message is, important. But let us know what you think about anger, and let us know what other emotions or experiences you'd like us to cover in this Emotions 101 series. Yeah, and happy feeling. This podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for therapy, diagnosis, or any kind of professional mental health treatment. We hope that we can share with you our experience authentically and genuinely, and we hope that occasionally we'll make you laugh. Maybe you can relate to our quest and how we're psyched for sanity. The content we share is our personal opinions and insights. They are not clinical insights to anyone, and they don't represent or reflect any entity that we work and or have worked for in the past. But if listening to this podcast has made you think, we really encourage you to seek out a mental health professional in your area.